On today's video of the Turbo R18 Civic, we are changing a few things on the positive crankcase ventilation side. You got your regular PCV hose here. We are running a factory PCV in the engine now because after doing some oil testing and turbo drain testing, we had a few issues and we concluded that having a negative vacuum using the PCV is actually very beneficial for the oil drain, so we don't have any smoking issues. But having a PCV in your engine on a turbocharged application isn't the best, because when you're under boost and your intake manifold sees a lot of pressure, some of that pressure can go down into the crankcase because the stock PCV isn't the best at holding boost and sealing. So that's where we picked up this check valve. Now again, a check valve is kind of like a PCV. It only allows air to flow one way, and then if you try to introduce air into it from here, which is positive boost, it seals it. And this has a very high rating of boost that it is able to seal. So this is just like a second safety mechanism to prevent any boost from going to the crankcase and pressurizing the crankcase, because again, we're trying to eliminate that whole process. So we're gonna try to tap that somewhere alongside a straight edge here for the check valve. And what we're also gonna do, since originally we used the intake manifold port on the engine for the blow-off valve, that was a blow-off valve port, so we haven't been running the blow-off valve for a couple weeks, and I'm telling you, the turbo flutter is crazy. But I am gonna introduce the blow-off valve back on, just because for the longevity of the turbo and the compressor, and to save the thrust bearing in the turbo, we do want a blow-off valve connected. So I picked up this T. This is a 3/8 to 3/8 with a 1/4 inch T. The 1/4 inch is perfect for the line right here. That's gonna fit perfectly in there. So we're just gonna cut this up in appropriate places, and then we pretty much knock out two things. We knock out any boost that may be going into the crankcase, and we get our blow-off valve working again. And all in all, the Turbo R18 is doing really good, running about 4.5 to 5 pounds of boost, and it's happy there, and I'm happy, and we're just making it more efficient so it lasts us a long time. That this might not fit because the center of these hoses look like they're a 1/4 inch, and only the outsides are 3/8 of an inch. That's nice. So I got it in using a heat gun to kind of heat up the rubber, squeeze it in. I did have to shorten a little bit of this hose so it kind of goes in appropriately. And we just got to install this point right here. We got to install this point right here, and we're good. I'm gonna heat it up, and as soon as I insert it into the plastic check valve, I'm gonna hose it off with water instantly so it doesn't start melting or burning off the check valve. All right, awesome. Nice little sleeper setup here. Very functional, minimalistic. That's exactly what I was going for. All right, just installed a one-way check valve into the PCV OEM hose, and I also teed in a vacuum source for my blow-off valve, because with PCV running, the OEM PCV, I don't have much ports on the intake manifold that I can use, so I'm utilizing both my OEM PCV, which will help the turbo drain and evacuate crankcase pressures, and I'm also teeing off here, so knock out two birds one stone, turbo Civic, looking better than ever. Just opened up my oil catch can, and that's all the oil that came out of it. So it's definitely doing work. All right, I just started the car, testing out the vacuum. Definitely the check valve is working. It's sucking in air, but again, under boost, when we're saying boost won't come out from here into the engine. I'm not sure if that check valve does restrict any kind of flow or not. It looks like it may be a little bit more restrictive than not having any check valve, but again, benefit outweighs the risk in this scenario. So I'm gonna go ahead, reinstall all this, and we should be good to go here.
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and